Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are joining us around the world. This is the Dream Team. Today is July 16. Thank you, Sister Marie Pendy, for the welcome. Our members of the Dream Team, all of you are welcome. As I indicated a little bit earlier, if you are here and you are having issues that you cannot work in an open webinar as this, please reach out to Dr. Derek Clark, Dr. Patience, Dr. Benny, Sister Debbie McCormick. They will help to accommodate you and work with you behind the scene. Take it over, Dr. Patience.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And this is a Dream Team webinar. As Brother Alfred have said, this is a platform that we are open here to when every question is answered. No question is too small or big, as my sister Marie would put it. For us to get to it, please leave here satisfied. That's the point that we are running this. We don't want anybody left behind. Today we have a very exciting presentation. We'll get to that after our beautiful sister with a voice, Queen Prosperity, give us the mindset. But before that, we're going to call on our own brother, Brother King Derek Clark, which is so excited at the Kupo top, to play our signature tune. And we call this a non-verbal communication because there's a lot of loaded information. He updates it with what is current. There's a lot of loaded information. So please pay attention as you're enjoying the voice of one of our sisters and the updated content that Dr. Derek Clark blessed us with. My brother, Dr. Derek, I know you're born ready. Over to you, brother.
ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE, the future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
You are muted.
We are indeed in it to win it. ONPASSIVE is the future of the internet. We just have to show up. Show up. Our sister JW, Jackie Warner, says, show up. Just coming to the meeting here is showing up. So if you show up 80%, right? Sister Marie said that, and that's what our CEOs up. Just show up. Don't have to do much. So we're in it to win it. We're the future of the internet. I'm going to pass it over to the queens that we have on this platform. You come to know them, but they're the ones that run the meetings smoothly. We have Queen Debbie, Queen Irene, Bridget, Queen Yvonne, Queen Benny, Queen Lerato, Queen Aisha, Queen Kanla, Queen Bridget. They make this meeting run smoothly in the background, and a lot of other leaders. You see when they come in the meeting and try to make them co-hosts. Those are people that help to make the platform run smoothly. So we want to appreciate you all for doing that every day for us. Week in, week out, you are here. Even when you're not feeling well, you come in to make sure our fellow brand ambassador, our fellow global ambassador, our fellow founder, member, affiliate, whatever you want to address yourself, get the knowledge, both physical, spiritual, mental, and just knowledge in general that it can impact your life for free. So that is what ONPASSIVE have done for us, bless of a lot of people that are willing to share their knowledge with us. And today we're going to hear from some of our presenters sharing their knowledge with us. So without wasting time, I'm going to pass it over to Queen Sister Debbie. Take it over.
Present.
Oh, sorry, sister. I hope you're feeling better. But this is the ONPASSIVE spirit. You don't feel well, but you want to show up.
Yes, indeed. I'm here. Greetings to all of us who are signed in and those who are watching from YouTube. We appreciate you, as already said by all your speakers. I want to specifically welcome our guest speakers before I proceed, because I see the beautiful faces. Brother Vitel Smart is one of our presenters today. Sister, is it Jana or Jana? How should we pronounce your name, Jana or Jana?
It's Jana. It's
Okay.
Jana.
That's what
Yes,
I suspected. Okay, thank you very much. We welcome you. I should have started with you because ladies before gentlemen. We welcome your sister Jana, Queen Jana, and we welcome you as well, Brother Jeff. It's an honor having all of you present to us today. Brother Vitel, thank you for making this happen. So I just wanted to give that welcome first to our special presenters, and then I'll present the beautiful voice that we heard, our wonderful mindset speaker for the day, who is always here to grace us with the beautiful voice that God has graced her with. Let us welcome our sister, Lerato Shadare Prosperity. Over to you.
How are you, my lovely sister? Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Me and you feel the same.
I'm here because of ONPASSIVE, otherwise I'll be in my bed.
Me too. Me too. Me and you both, because I just came back from a tour. I am just like done, but we're here because we love ONPASSIVE, right? We love this family so much, and everything here is driven by love, right? So it's so good to be here, and I just want to say hello to all the leaders, to our guests, to everybody here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, I'm just grateful that I'm alive. It's just gratitude that is running through my veins. Gratitude for everything to the minute details of our lives, the air we breathe, everything. I'm just grateful. And I'm also grateful for this opportunity of ONPASSIVE. I'm so grateful to be here, guys. So, I mean, we've been talking about different things. We've been talking about a mindset of wealth. We've spoken about so many things throughout the weeks and everything. We've spoken about, last week we were specifically talking about love. And what came to my mind is that you have change there. You don't have change? I'm sorry. No. He has to give you. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds, ma'am. Give me 2 seconds.
That's the future billionaires interrupting. They have the right to come in the meeting.
I'm so sorry. It's my children, I left them for the weekend, so they ordered something and something was happening there. So I'm sorry. So we've spoken about prosperity, and we spoke about the mindset of prosperity, and we started talking about love, because I believe that our prosperity is not complete if our souls are not prospering. Right? Prosperity will never, ever be complete if your soul is not prospering. And our soul prospers when we are in love, because when we are in love, we are in God and we are in light, right? And so in order for us to walk in the prosperity and the completeness of prosperity, our soul have to prosper, and our soul prospers through love, right? And to begin now this process of love, we have to now start loving ourselves. We start from there. We start from self-love, right? So, and then when we love ourselves fiercely, and we complete this cycle of love, then we can love others as we love ourselves, because we cannot give what you don't have. Right? If you don't understand, or if you don't know how to love, or you cannot love somebody else. You'll give them the dysfunction that you're in, and then present that as love. Whereas it's death, right? Because I said that anything that doesn't have to do with faith, that doesn't have to do with love, then it's fear and death. Because anything that goes with fear, it goes with darkness, it goes with death, right? So it's just that process of just, everything just culminating to that nothingness and that fear, right? And so now when we speak about the spirit of love is the spirit of life. It's life-giving. Everything flourishes through love. Everything flourishes in love. And that's how we were created. We were created in God, and God is love, and God is light, right? So we cannot now separate our prosperity from our souls and say that we are only prospering in one facet. Because I told you the last time we spoke, not I told you, but we spoke the last time about what is prosperity, what is wealth. It's not only one way. There are many ways to be abundant and many ways to be wealthy, and money is just a part of it, right? Because money is an exchange of actually what we have. It's just a symbol of exchange that we do. So now we cannot completely now say that we are prosperous and we have this completeness of prosperity when we are not working in love. So then now it's our duty to now start looking in those areas of our lives and say, okay, fine, how am I appearing for myself? Because if you are not okay, everything around you is not going to be okay. If your soul is not prospering, if your soul is not okay, everything else in your life will just be that not okayness of who you are, right? Because we manifest and we are who we are, and those things trickle down in everything, our decisions and everything that we do in life, right? We spoke the last time about people who just have money. They have a lot of money, but they're lacking a lot of things that makes life what it is, the sweetness of life, that prosperity and the love that comes, that things that you cannot buy. You have people who are dying in hospitals, they have billions in their bank accounts, but they regret living their life the way that they lived because they didn't bring anything positive to humanity. But whatever that they have through their money, they were perpetuating everything that is not serving humanity. They were perpetuating greed. They were perpetuating everything else that was not necessarily good for humanity, that was only benefiting themselves as profit. Right? And then we ask ourselves, it's like, if you say profit, but it's not actually profiting a whole, it's actually not profit, it's death, right? So we now speak about this prospering of our souls. And I know here as ONPASSIVians, it's our ultimate to be the best that we can be. And we can only be the best that we can be through love. We can only be the best that we can be through love, guys. There's nothing else that is worth existing for if it's not in love. Nothing else is worth it, because the power that moves everything, that brings everything, the whole entire universe together, is the power of love. It still is the power of love. Everything that is in existence, everything that is about our creator, is love, guys. Nothing else exists and is worth living for apart from that. So now, when our prosperity now, and we walk in this prosperity, and we walk in this, the prosperity now becomes complete when our souls is also prospering through love, then we can love fearlessly. We can love fearlessly and fiercely everything around us, and bring that light and that worthiness to everything that we do. So now we have to really work in ourselves now and start evaluating, how do we love? Do we, take the dysfunctions, because there's a lot of dysfunction in this world, and everything, so many things that are presented as love that are actually not love, right? Because a lot of people, we operate through fear, or we operate through many things that are actually presented as love that are actually not love. So now we have to unlearn the dysfunction and start walking in what true love is. That divine love that wants good for everyone, that divine love that brings life and completeness to everything that it touches, and which is us, guys. That divine love that brings everything good to whatever that it touches, right? That brings wholeness, healing, everything that humanity needs and this world needs. So we have to just sit here and think, okay, if I want to prosper, I can not only say I'm complete if only I'm prospering in one area of my life. Everything about me has to prosper. And then when your soul prospers, then everything then will prosper around your life. You will start attracting the good that we're looking for. When we agree, I said the last time, Dr. Derek loves the statement, I say that we have to agree with good, right? And that good, then it's magnified through love. That goodness is magnified through love. So that's what we're going to work on. We have to work on ourselves, loving ourselves completely. Because if we do not love ourselves completely, then we cannot accept the others and be graceful and be accepting and all these things and all these things that come together with love, humility, all these things that we were talking about, that kindness that love is. That us giving of us ourselves, because love is giving. We cannot do that now if we're not complete in love, and if our souls are not complete in this love, because perfect love casts out fear. Anything that goes with fear, when love is there, it casts it out, right? So we can only be the best versions of ourselves if we live in love, and if we live in that light of whom we are, which is complete love, guys. So this is our mission now, to say, as we are here now in ONPASSIVE, and we know that our CEO, his main thing is about humanity, that we are here, we exist for others to be better. We exist for others to be better, to make it better for everybody else. And so that we can make that mark, so that when we are all gone one day from here, from this existence, because we can never be completely gone, right? When we are not here on this planet, and when everything, when the generations and the people that we left behind look through our eyes, they will see that, wow, this power that came through these people, the main thing was through love. They loved well. Love is worth everything, guys, because then we prosper, we grow. Everything that is through love brings life. In our finances, in everything, in every facet of our lives. And we can only be complete through love. That's it. Everything is complete through love. So let's work on ourselves, self-love, take care of yourself, take care of your spirit, your soul. Everything about you then will prosper. And that prosperity will be mighty and juicy. It will be so juicy. So thank you so much. I love you so much, guys. In case you didn't hear it today, I want to tell you that I love you. Thank you.
We give you our unconditional love, Sister Loretta. You know it. But it's always good to have the reminder, especially because it's from all of us who are listening to you, your inspiration, the way you make us feel about ourselves. And we re-examine that internally on a weekly basis. And we keep it until the following week when you will come back to us. Thank you very much. Brother Vitel, check your phone, please. And thank you all again. This special topic we have today, oh my goodness. After hearing what our sister has just shared, you should be prepared for the next thing coming up. We have these special presenters. There are three of them. Brother Vitel Smart, Sister Jana, and Brother Jeff. I will, I'll give you a little summary of Brother Vitel. He's always here with us as we know him. He's a Jamaican currently living in Florida, US. He has a graduate degree from Fordham University, graduate School of Social Work, and a bachelor's from Iona University. He also has a teaching certificate from Miko University College, Jamaica, and a teaching certificate from University of the West Indies in Jamaica. He is from a family of 14, 7 boys and 7 girls. He's married, a father of 3, 2 boys and a girl. He also is a grandfather of 4 children, or 4 grandchildren actually. Brother Vitel has 35 years plus experience and expertise in the areas of business ownership, management, sales, marketing, branding, patenting, private labeling, consulting, and pioneering. He's also Chief Pioneering Architect in the development, sales, marketing, and branding of Jamaican-style parties and Caribbean food products to the mainstream crossover food retailers such as the US, major US wholesale clubs like Sam's Club and Costco, as well as supermarket chains in the southeastern US. He's responsible for team building, groundbreaking, introduction, and record-breaking sales growth of newly branded Jamaican-style parties in the southeastern market, from 0 sales to $5 million in 8 years. And he's also the past president, State of Connecticut Cricket League. Boy, he is such an athlete. I did not know that part of you, Brother Vitel. He's also the past president of Jamaican Cultural Connection, which is a non-for-profit organization in the US. So currently he's transitioning from the food industry to artificial intelligence technology industry. And he's also a brand ambassador of this wonderful ONPASSIVE platform on which we are. So he's one of our presenters, and Brother Vitel, may I call you to present to us our other speakers?
Yes, certainly.
Please.
All right, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Good. To all brand ambassadors, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And Sister Loretta, that was a juicy love message you gave us there. Love it. And that's how we do it. That's how we do it in ONPASSIVE. Love all the way. And so today we are going to be doing a two-tier presentation. One is going to be about the tragedies of poverty and starvation. And I will do that part. And then my friends, Jeff and Jana, will pick it up from there. And they will be talking about the food preservation. And also Jeff will give us, a little synopsis about the waste in the dairy industry. because the story I'm about to share with you, I put a note out there that you need to get some Kleenex with you, because it's some of it is going to be highly emotional. And so let me introduce my friends, because right after my presentation, they're going to be following me. So Jeff and Jana, they are a wife and husband team. They are a parent of, they have been married for 15 years. They're a parent of 2 beautiful boys. And as I previously noted, they are dairy farmers from Gay, Georgia, where they have been residing for the past 6 years. Jeff was born in the Sunshine State of Florida, in the city of Tampa, which is just about an hour drive from Orlando, where I live. He's a 3rd generation dairy farmer and has been in the industry since he was a little boy. Jana, on the other hand, was born in the Communist Czech Republic. And as she told me, we didn't have a lot to eat while growing up. So food wasting was not an option. Growing up under communism was a very tough ordeal for myself and my family. There was nothing to waste. Meals were prepared at home by mom. There was no fast food restaurants like we have here in the United States, where at the end of the day, the products that were unsold and leftovers was placed in the garbage bags and thrown away in the dumpsters. In the Czech Republic, she said, we wasted nothing. My grandmother always put away the leftovers and did a lot of canning as a way of preserving food back then. That's how we made it, Jana said. For me, just add a little personal note, that's how we made it in Jamaica also. Because where I was born and grown up, there was no room for wasting food. Jeff and Jana are both people persons who love what they do. They love to help, they love to teach, they love to educate, they love to equip people with the skills and knowledge that God has given them to preserve the present as well as the future generation of dairy farmers. That is why food and food nutrition is so important to them, as instruments to feed the hunger and less fortunate, as well as helping in the preservation of life. Jeff and Jana and myself, we have made joint appearances on the Obless platform already with Chris Johnson. And I remember the first appearance that we made, I was told that they have more hands raised than any other time in the history of Obless. So these are 2 rock stars you're going to be dealing with today, this evening. Our long-term plan is to work and coordinate together as a team. We always work together as a team in the food industry with one common objective in mind. We want to work with Mr. Ashma Farid through Obless to tackle and eradicate the global tragedy of hunger, starvation, and poverty. This is what we plan to do. This is what we intend to do. Jana has a very keen interest in food preservation. She has been doing intensive research in this area for some time now, and has even acquired a freeze drying machine for our own home use. This evening, she will be sharing our experiences with us. So, as we get ready to embark on this journey with ONPASSIVE, I'm going to be sharing my part of the presentation with you. Again, I'm warning you, some of it may be very emotional. So just kick back, relax, and listen. So I'm going to share my screen. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start off by giving you a little definition of what lifting up humanity is all about. And when we say lift up humanity, it is clear that we need to be together in the same language of expressions. When we speak about lifting up humanity, it means to rise from a lower to a higher position. It means filled with high spirits. It means filled with optimism. It means to pick up and lift up. It means to boost and to elevate. And there is absolutely no substitute for these expressions in ONPASSIVE. This is what Mr. Ashmafari commands us to do, and this is what he wants us to accomplish in order to level the playing field and make the world a better place. But before I go, I have some house cleaning to do here. So I want to say greetings to all brand ambassadors, especially to all my Jamaican friends living in Jamaica, in Canada, in the United States, in the UK, and wherever you are watching at this time. Special greetings also going out to my sister Queen Vinette, who brought me into ONPASSIVE. Lots of thanks and gratitude, my sister. Greetings to our friend Scott Hughes, who brought Vinette into ONPASSIVE, but was later taken out by COVID. This was our dear friend, and both Vinette and I wish he was here today to witness the evolution of ONPASSIVE. Lots of luck going out to his dear wife, surviving wife, Janice, and daughter, Chrissy. Wishing them Godspeed as they struggle to survive without a husband and a father. I also want to pay greetings to this lovely lady that's showing up there, my mom. I want to pay tribute to mom and thank God for her dear mother. Imogene Smart, Iron Lady who gave birth to me, who motivated and inspired me to be who I am today. Mom celebrated her 97th birthday, and I want to thank her for the lessons that she instilled in me, the manner in which she inspired and motivated me. Among other things, she taught me how to be humble, how to be charitable, not only to my own family members, but also to humanity in general. I thank you, Mom, and I love you very much. And so I want to proceed by telling you about my research, my book research on global poverty, hunger, and starvation. And this was done and handed over to Obles a couple of months ago. So the information that I will be sharing with you today comes directly from research materials that I compiled and presented in this book. This is where my heart is, and that's how I intend to make my contribution to ONPASSIVE moving forward. For me, ladies and gentlemen, just doing this research was quite heartrending and emotionally draining. I had no idea absolutely about the type of suffering that certain groups of people in the world, especially in the mother country, Africa, were experiencing. But that's what we are here as Global Ambassador to do, to fix these problems with God's guidance and to level the playing field for a better tomorrow. So let's look at the topic on hand. Food preservation. every year, over 11 million people die due to unhealthy diet. And this was information is coming from the World Health Organization. Global hunger rose to as many as 828 million in 2021. This is also from a United Nations report. And so these statistics were taken from that report in the 22 edition that deals with state of food security and nutrition in the world. Today, we are here to address the issue of food preservation and how this can be used to remedy the problem of starvation and hunger. The report also shows that these numbers were reflective of 46 million more than they did in 2020, and 150 million more than they did in 2019. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, every year, as I mentioned before, 11 million people die due to unhealthy diet. So what do we do? And here's our mission. Our mission is to coordinate and implement all available and necessary resources to eradicate the global tragedies of hunger, poverty, and starvation. And with a mission also comes a vision. So what's our vision? We envision that over time, with the implementation of all available resources, and with love, hard work, and passion, the tragedies of global poverty, hunger, and starvation shall eventually be placed in the rearview mirrors of history. So let's look at a definition of hunger. According to the United Nations, hunger is defined as the period when people go for entire days without eating due to lack of money and access to food or other resources. The distress associated with lack of food and threshold for food deprivation or malnourishment is eating fewer than 1,800 calories per day. The minimum recommended daily intake for women is 2,000 calories, and for men is 2,500 calories. And so when you're eating less than 800 calories per day, you're in the area of malnutrition. So what are the root causes of global hunger? The root causes. Now let's examine this. The planet produces enough food to feed every single person, yet more than 3 billion people can't afford to eat a healthy diet. And so the question is, why? Why is this happening? Now you understand that the total global population is about 8 billion. So when you do the math, nearly 1/3 of the world's population can't afford to eat a healthy diet. What a tragedy that is. So what is the answer for that? The answer here's the answer, or here are some answers. Poverty, inequity, wars and conflicts, corrupt government, government-subsidized farm policies, especially here in the United States, corrupt healthcare systems, waste in the food stores and restaurants, corrupt government, and global warming. Now, of all these variables played that you see, all of them play a significant role in keeping nutritious food out of the reach of millions of people around the world. But climate change, however, is by far one of the biggest drivers of hunger worldwide. And the consequences are deadly. Climate change is also referred to as global warming. And it's indeed a killer. A massive killer, as you will be seeing later in our video presentation. So let's look at global warming, which is the #1 culprit. Reportedly, in 2022, 43,000 Somalis died from drought conditions. And the sad part of it is half of them were children below the age of 5. 3 million children in the Sudan suffer from malnutrition every year, every single year. And in the months ahead, it is projected that over 9 million will suffer from severe food shortages, half of them in the Sudan, due to climate change. I'm going to give you a few minutes to grab your Kleenex. A whole box is full if you want to. And get ready to take a look at this grim ABC News video narrated by news anchor David Muir. And I was at dinner one night, and ABC News came on, and here was this sad commentary about what was going on in the South Sudan. And that really blew me away. That really blew me away. So I'm going to be sharing it with you. I'm going to be sharing it with you. And giving some time to come up. And so here we go.
Good evening tonight from South Sudan, where you're about to witness an urgent race against time. Aid workers on the ground here will tell you, in a region known for conflict, they're up against a war now they cannot win. A changing climate, the extremes here becoming more extreme, the drought and the floodwaters. This is the only road in, and the only reason it's dry is because of the mud walls holding the floodwaters back. Tonight, the excruciating journey to get to the families now cut off, farmlands now underwater, and the only way, they say, they're keeping these families alive. We land in South Sudan, where we are told there is an urgent effort to get to more than 1 million people in desperate need because of climate. The UN truck's waiting. We head out with the World Food Program, traveling down the only road in, carrying aid from Sudan. And we're there as the last convoy makes it in from Sudan before the deadly violence breaks out to the north. Mud walls holding the water back. And then the only way to get to so many of the families here is by boat. What's happening here is staggering. Climate change making the extremes here, the drought and the floods, only more extreme. 4 years in a row now of historic flooding, the waters unable to recede. This is a very common sight here after 4 years of relentless rains. This is a tiny piece of land completely surrounded by the waters here, an island in and of itself. And these are the families that have stayed behind to continue to raise their children here. But what do they feed the children here with no land to farm on anymore? We are told the water lilies. And then we see her, a mother in the distance. The haunting sounds, the coughing, the quiet splashing in the water, the determined work in stagnant, dangerous floodwaters. The water nearly to her chest, reaching down to pull out the water lilies and their bulbs. This mother, reaching down so far, she is nearly underwater herself. It is what they do for their children. And this mother, who proudly shows the bulbs to us. They dry them and pound them into paste to feed them to their children.
Mothers are feeding their children water lilies.
Unfortunately, they are. It is a coping mechanism because they do not have enough food.
How do they get any food when they're completely surrounded by water?
That is a biggest challenge that they are facing here, the availability of food. Before they had land where they could cultivate food, but now they are completely cut off.
Families cut off with so little land and no livestock.
It's just a stunning sight to see the cows out here in the middle of the water. This used to be farmland before the floods. The livestock, it's impossible to know just how much has been lost during these floods, but you can see they're nothing but skin and bones, these cows here, still searching for something to eat and basically marooned out here in the middle of the water.
We meet 3 siblings on the water.
What do you have there?
They tell us they have gathered grass and sticks.
They're saying they're trying to take them to town so that they could sell it.
And what will people use it for?
She's saying that they're going to use them to construct their homes.
And they're now bringing it now to where most people are on the other side of the dike, hoping to sell it for people building homes on the other side of the flood.
Yeah.
We make it to one of the islands, the children at the water's edge, many of them with bellies that signal the emergency. The woman who greets us with a smile.
Hello.
As we head to find the makeshift clinic here.
We're told of the families on this island who have come to the nutrition center for help, and you can see the mothers and their children here. They're waiting to be screened, but they have all brought their children here for help.
This little boy among the children here, a hint of a smile. All of them waiting for help.
Women bring their children here.
Achal Chand is the head of nutrition for the World Food Program here in South Sudan.
The nutrition assistant will now measure the child's upper arm.
They are trying to determine the level of malnutrition.
He's marking the child's arm to get the midpoint of the upper arm.
The mother and her baby, who is just 1.
What did you find?
I find that this child is malnourished.
Malnourished.
We ask her, how did she feed her child before today?
What are you able to feed your child?
She's saying that they only feed her water lilies.
Water lilies.
She tells us she is grateful her baby is getting help.
Yes.
She says yes.
Yes. We were glad too, yes.
And we learn here that the children most at risk have been brought here to the state hospital in Bentu. Children on the brink of starvation. And we see it. The 9-year-old boy, John Chol, drinking water. And then slowly falling back down onto his bed. And we learn of the young mother, her baby, just 40 days old, a little more than a month, weighing less than 4 pounds.
You must be relieved that your baby is doing much better.
She's saying yes.
Yes, she says. Her newborn son and his tiny grip, a sign of hope here. These children, they say, are the innocent victims of climate change.
Cause of the climate change.
You think it's because of the climate change?
That is what I can say so.
I mean, the land has changed.
The land is over flooded. The land is flooded, actually. There is no area for cultivation. And that is because of the climate change.
He tells me the lack of food is overwhelming here.
How dire is the situation on the ground here in South Sudan?
The situation of malnutrition is huge.
It's huge.
It is huge. There is no food. There is no food.
But you are the one helping to save the children.
At the moment, yes.
Out on those tiny slivers of land, they look for the children most at risk. Grace Nyakoth is from here. She now works for the World Food Program.
What do you make of the change in climate?
It's only a few weeks to rainy season, and this might worsen with time as it is. It's all flooded everywhere.
And you haven't even begun wet season, rainy season?
The rainy season is only 2 weeks to 3 weeks.
From now?
From now.
We're on the front lines right here of climate change.
Yeah, no, I think there's no question. This is the front lines. This is where we're seeing a change that's not just one extreme event.
Bill Null monitors the change in climate for the World Food Program.
After 1 year, you might think you can come back and start again. But after 4 years of cumulative flooding, I think people are starting to think that this is a long-term change.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No. I never imagined anything quite at this scale.
Scientists and researchers with the UN have studied the wet season growing more extreme here. From 2019 to 2020, the waters that did not recede. And then 2021, 2022, and this is now. They say the wetlands have tripled in size in just 4 years. The amount of land erased by the water here is stark.
For about 5% to 12 to 15% of the entire territory of the country. It's just
Underwater.
amazing. Yeah.
That's an astounding figure.
Oh, it is. It is.
And scientists say temperatures in this region are rising at double the global rate, making both the droughts and the flooding more acute.
The extremes are only growing more extreme. The wet season is wetter.
The wet season is wetter. There are parts of the country that are becoming drier, and the victims of all of these are innocent South Sudanese whose numbers are in need are increasing.
In fact, scientists here point out the people of South Sudan contribute less than 0.1% of carbon dioxide emissions worldwide, and yet they are paying a devastating price. And as we're on the ground here, we see it. The people here know what's coming again in just weeks. We witness an extraordinary scene. The women building a mud wall by hand, a dike, to hold any new floodwaters back, to try to reclaim some of their land. They are up against overwhelming challenge, and yet still a smile on this woman's face.
When you look at the effects of climate change here, how does it get better?
I don't know if it can get better. Climate change is very real, and I have been in South Sudan for 2.5 years, and there are parts of this state that we came in a boat that I used to walk on. So I don't know if it gets better. The only way it can get better is that we receive more assistance.
If you look over my shoulder here, you can see the very top of somebody's hut where a family once lived. And once you recognize what that is, you can see it sort of peppering the landscape here, the water's edge. Home after home just completely destroyed.
In fact, the water so deep in some places, the World Food Program uses amphibious vehicles to get to communities hardest to reach. We travel with them as they pass by old villages no longer. And when we finally get there, hours into this journey, the children running toward us. Then we see something unexpected when we come back.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Okay. Now, let's look at what's going on in our own country. Poorly implemented farm policies in the USA, where 30 to 40% of food that farmers produce is never consumed. While some people on the other side of the world are dying from starvation, look what's going on in our own country. If there's not much demand for that particular food that here, the excess is likely to end up in a landfill. That's right. And here's the sad part. The farmers receive government subsidies for dumping this food. Unbelievable, but it's true. In 2021, the federal government, through the Department of Agriculture, provided farmers with $28.5 billion in subsidies. So whatever cannot be sold end up in the landfill, and they are still making money. And this is subsidized by us, the taxpayers. My friend Jeff and Jana are here to explain to you how the system works especially Jeff, who has some experience in the dairy industry. So let's look at what happened during COVID. We call this the COVID waste. Milk dumped, eggs smashed, vegetables plowed, food wasted. You see all the waste right there. During COVID, the restaurants and hotels and schools were closed. And many of the nation's largest farms destroyed millions of pounds of fresh food they could no longer sell in the marketplace. Just imagine, these foods are just thrown away while other people are starving to death. Then we have other drivers of waste, include labor shortages, which is also a big contributor to food waste. 15% of all food grown in farms across the US never leave the farm due to workforce shortages. That's right, 15%. Just waste. There are other factors such as lack of demand, food imperfections, weather events. So what if we in ONPASSIVE or Blessed could get our hands up in about 50% of that waste, or even 30%? What a difference that would be for those who do not know where the next meal is coming from. Just think about it. Just think about it. So I'm going to show you something astounding again. And this has to do with the restaurant and supermarkets. Here are some facts. 30% of the food in America's grocery store is thrown away every year. 30%. 16 billion pounds of food waste are accounted for annually from grocery stores. And this report was given there in the DAR report, which is stands for Degree Audit Report. This is where I got this report from. Another 27 million tons of food waste are accounted for annually in restaurants. They just throw away food. They just throw food away in fear of lawsuits. Again, what if ONPASSIVE could lay hands on these foods for preservation? So take a look at this video.
The US and China are the largest emitters of greenhouse gases. If food waste were a country, it would be the third largest. To learn more about the impact of food waste on the environment and how big the problem is here in the United States, NewsHour Weekend's Megan Thompson recently sat down with Elizabeth Balkin, the food waste director at the Natural Resources Defense Council.
Paint the picture for me. How much food do we waste here in the United States?
In the US, up to 40% of the food that is produced every year goes wasted. That translates into economic loss of $218 billion per year. And at the individual level, a household of 4 spends on average $1,500 or more per year on food that never gets eaten.
What are the connections between the amount of food that we waste and environmental impacts, climate change?
The greenhouse gases associated with food waste amount to roughly 37 million passenger vehicles on the road. Not only do you have the contributions from methane when food waste rots in a landfill, but you have all these other resources that go into the production, the manufacturing, the transportation, the storage, distribution. All of those resources are swallowed up when we waste food rather than eat it. Of the top 100 most impactful things that we can do to address climate change, food waste prevention is number 3. It's not solar power, it's not wind power, it's food waste prevention.
What are the biggest contributors to food waste here?
Overall, consumers and consumer-facing businesses, restaurants, cafeterias, are responsible for over 80% of the food waste in this country. For example, in restaurants, the vast majority of food waste comes from what is left over on people's plates or post-consumer waste. So if we want to really tackle the food waste that's happening in restaurants, for example, we need to start addressing the harder part of the puzzle, which is customer behavior.
So it sounds like culture plays a role in some of this.
Culture plays a huge role and is really part of the equation in the US in a fundamental way. In this country, I think we have certain expectations about the way that food is presented. We like abundance, and food is very cheap in this country. So the cost to businesses of wasting food is not so outsized when compared to either the consumer expectation or the business's expectation of what the consumer expects to see when they walk into a hotel buffet or they walk into a supermarket aisle.
What are steps that individual consumers can take?
We don't want consumers to feel like they're the villains here. A lot of the source reason for food waste is connected to things like date labels. Date labels didn't really exist before the 1970s. And before then, people would use their senses. They would use the smell test on milk. They might try a little bit of yogurt. And if something tasted fine or smelled okay, didn't smell like it had gone off, they would eat it. What you see when you look at a date label that says best if used by has nothing to do with food safety, but it's a manufacturer's suggestion about when this food item is at its peak freshness, which is inherently a subjective thing. In fact, besides baby formula, there is really no regulation around date labels. So there's enormous opportunity to reform date labels to be consistent with public health information and science, and in doing so, prevent a ton of food from going to waste.
Elizabeth Belkin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, guess what? Here's a grim projection for 2030. According to the UN report on global hunger, nearly 670 million people, which is 8% of the world's population, will be facing hunger in 2030. And this projection was made by the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This agenda also acknowledges that eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions, including extreme poverty, is the greatest global challenge and an indispensable requirement for global sustainable development. So we are now in the year 2023. So in 7 years from now would be 2030. So guess what, my friends? Here's the silver lining. Here's the silver lining. ONPASSIVE to the rescue. ONPASSIVE to the rescue. OBLESS is the foundation and uplifting arm of ONPASSIVE. Feeding the hunger shall be our first critical mode of intervention. We rescue first, then we feed for survival and upliftment next. So for those of us who will be working on large or even small projects for our community or for our country. Please keep in mind that let me repeat, Obless is, you have to have a mindset on Obless. Your mindset must be focused on Obless. Just like Mr. Ashmafari teaches us, we must understand also that Obless is not a crowdfunding, nor is not a 501c3 charitable organization. Our main objective is to lift up humanity and to teach and help people how to be more self-reliant. Some of us may be aware of the expression that was first used in the 1800s by a British writer by the name of Elizabeth Ritchie. And she said here, I quote, "Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime." That's what Obless is all about. We need to show up. We need to lift up people from the doldrums. We need to feed them and put them back on their feet. And so during my research, I came across a food bank here in the Orlando area called Second Harvest Food Bank. And then I sat down with the powers that be there and have some talk with them, give me a tour of their warehouse, which I shoot a video for it. And I find that they have a program there similar to what Ms. Ash is talking about, teaching a person how to fish. They have a culinary arts training program, which is established by the food bank. It's a training program for 16 weeks. Upon graduation, the food bank finds them jobs, and some of them are now employed at Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, and public supermarket chains. These students or their parents were once recipients of food from the food bank. And some of them even go on to establish their own restaurant business. This will indeed be the Obless model in lifting up humanity. So we have heard all the sad stories and tearful stories. So let's look at something more refreshing. Solutions for food preservation. In order for us to really feed the world, we have to find a way to preserve food. And here are some ways that we can preserve food. These are some of the traditional ways: canning, freezing, sugaring, salting, vacuum packing, and freeze drying. Now, freeze drying is a new kid on the block and is very effective. These are some of the various solutions to preserve food. But these methods, except for food drying, are for short-term purposes only. So let's examine the drying process. First, let's take a look at one of the machines from one of the top manufacturers in the United States, and the name is Harvest Right. This is what the machine looks like. And that's domestic for home use only. That's a large, extra large one. This manufacturer, Harvest Right, is one of the top ones in the United States. And this is their extra large non-commercial unit. And I have established some contact with the company. I've received cost and information from them for anybody who are interested in buying any of those units for your home use. My dairy farmer friends, Jeff and Jana, who will be coming on next, have purchased one of these units, and they will be sharing their first-hand experiences with you about their functionalities and the way they operate. But let's, with Jana's permission, let's first take a look at this educational video to see how this machine operates.
That easy. This appliance is amazing. The freeze dryer is going to freeze the food 40 or 50 degrees below zero. Then the vacuum pump will automatically turn on and create a vacuum inside the chamber. The freeze dryer gradually warms the food, the water sublimates off as a gas, and the food dries. The process takes about 24 hours. When it's done, the freeze dryer will beep. The process is entirely automatic. We'll come back tomorrow and check out our food. Shape and haven't shrunk at all. And the ham is perfect. Meats are the easiest to freeze dry. Since there's no water left in the food, I'm ready to package and store it for future use. There are 3 things that cause food to go bad: heat, water, and oxygen. The freeze dryer takes all of the water out of the food while the food is still really cold. And the way to take out all of the oxygen is to put the food in a Mylar bag and add an oxygen absorber. You can also use number 10 cans or canning jars. All of these methods will preserve the food for many years to come. I've already labeled the Mylar bags. I include the date and a description of what's inside. So I'll take the ham, fill the Mylar bag, add an oxygen absorber, and seal it up. I like to do a double. My family loves to snack on freeze-dried fruit. Sometimes I store it in these glass jars, and sometimes I store it in canning jars. That way, they're easy to access for a snack. For long-term storage, I'll put the rest in Mylar bags, add an oxygen absorber, and seal them up. Raspberries and other fruits are delicious in cold cereal or warm oatmeal. I've powdered them and used them in smoothies and even to flavor cakes and frosting. Try using freeze-dried fruit in your baking. You can drop them in your muffin batter or your next cobbler. There are so many options. Okay, these are ready for your pantry or food storage room. For snacking, I put these jars of apples and raspberries on the counter or pantry shelf. The ice cream is amazing. It's delicious as a crunchy snack. I'm going to store some in Mylar bags and put some in a plastic bag to enjoy during the week. Your family will love these. Properly stored food can last up to 25 years. It's so easy to take the food that you've freeze-dried and create a meal for your family. Oxygen absorber in the bag and reseal it. Harvest Right's home freeze dryer gives you the ability to preserve produce from gardens and fruit trees, preserve full meals and foods your family loves to eat, and create your own food storage. To learn about these benefits and more, visit our website at harvestright.com. That's it for now. Check out our other videos for more tips on how you can make the most of your Harvest Right freeze dryer.
There we go, Queen Debbie. That's the way we do it. Queen Debbie, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Brother Vitel. That was awesome. That was really great.
Yes. So
well, I'm happy that we are recording this, so we'll have to go over it and look at it again. But that is such a great idea, and like saying it, talking about Africa. There are also some African countries that have the food, but they don't have a way of preserving it.
Yeah.
And so they'll be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
that they have the food and they don't.
Thank you very much, Sister Irina. I'm going to call on my friend Jana to chime in now and give us your first-hand knowledge of this machine. Jana, take it away.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Vitel. Wow, that was so well put together. And I know that you've been working on it so hard because we are farmers. So someone has to do the presentation and someone has to do the farming, right? So thank you for that. I really enjoy it. What I enjoy about it was that it was the way it was put together in the right order. So I appreciate your hard work, and thank you for doing that, Vitel. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you all for allowing us to be the voice, be the hands and feet today for ONPASSIVE. And me personally, I think when we first kind of started talking about it, it was kind of like, oh, it's an idea, but now just coming more into the depthness of the project, and us, and Brother Vitel been working together. We've been talking, different ideas in different ways, and the way it's coming together, actually, I had no idea it's gonna be, where we are today. But the more I look at it, the more I look at the presentation, and the more I look at the starvation and all the issues and all the problems in the world that are out there, the more I actually become entangled in this even more, meaning my heart. And so, just to touch up on, as our brother Vitel says, we are farmers. He gave you a little bit of history about my husband. He's the third generation of farmers. And so, I came alongside of him when we got married and started raising up our children. It became a really passion of mine to begin to do a lot of different things because the background I came from. And so when we moved here 6 years ago, the Lord has really blessed us with a beautiful land, and not only for the dairy farming, but also, utilize the land to the best of the ability as God has gave us. So we want to expand. We want to do what God wants us to do. And that's our hearts. I'm going to share later on about what we're going to try to do this fall for the community here where we are. But I'm going to just talk a little bit about the food preservation and the video that you guys saw. So food preservation, obviously for me, it's been since I was a little girl, because that's the way I grew up. And my grandmother used to can and grow a lot of things. So it was from early age, it really was imparted really into my heart, into my family. And when I moved here in US and when I was 20 years old, things began to shift and change for me, because I've never actually lived in a place that has everything. So everything was available. Nothing was missing, we were not lacking anything. So, but fast forward where we are today, I think really is a matter of a heart, how we raise our generation of our children. And it doesn't have to be just because the times are moving the way they're moving. We must take a stand as the parents, as the leaders, as farmers, to preserve that for the future generation. It's so important to us. So as Brother Vitel was showing you the video, pretty much, self-explanatory, really, what the freeze drying is. It's for us. I've always food preserve. I used to can and do all kinds of stuff. But past couple of years, I actually heard about freeze drying, and I was thinking, wow, this would be a really great benefit. Beneficial machine to have for our family here on a farm. So fast forward to this year in April or March, we finally said, yes, we're going to invest into this machine. So we did. We purchased one of the medium freeze dryer from Harvest Right. And I've been using it now since April. And just to show you guys or tell you, it's been working wonderfully. I have never had any problems with it. We changed the oil in it only one time so far. I think it takes about how many, 25 batches?
Yeah, it's about 20 batches. What you're referring to with the oil, it's the oil in the vacuum pump.
Right.
Not in the machine itself. It's because the pump is what vacuums down the pressure in the chamber. So that oil lasts for about 20 to 25 batches. And then the machine will tell you it's time for an oil change. It pretty much does everything for you.
Just everything pretty much by itself. But, you know, it's amazing. Just like the lady in the video, actually, I know her because that's the video I've been playing when I first got my freeze dryer. And I was like, oh, I need to know how things works and things like that. You know, I mean, it comes with manual, but, you know, we have the research of a lot of videos on YouTube. So it was a really big help for me. But just like the lady is showing, you know, like I have a couple jars in here. I can show you guys what I've been doing. I freeze dry some strawberries and I just put them in just the regular canning jars. And these have been freeze dried probably. They're still very crunchy. I probably freeze dried them 2 months ago. Yeah, probably about 2 months ago. I mean, and you open it, I put it in my cereal. My kids and I, you know, we could snack on them, or you can powder them, sprinkle on your salad, however. But, you know, you can just eat them like that and you get all the nutritions from those.
If you want to long-term that, you got to put an oxygen.
But if you do want a long-term, like the lady explained in the video, then you put the absorbent oxygen pack in it, or for longer storage, you can put it in a Mylar bags and seal it and put it up on a shelf. Or I have a big bins that I put them in, all my food. Actually, one of them is already full. So that's where we put in our stuff. Here, I did some onions. So I freeze dried this white onion. I had abundance of onions, and this is a freeze dry. I just wish you guys can smell it. No, it's a virtual presentation, but I wish you guys can smell it. It just smells so fresh. And this is just the white onion. It's dry, and I can just show you guys. It just broke, like literally. It's like a feather. It's so light. It's amazing. And I actually eat this by itself, just like that. It's not strong. White onion is really not that strong. So, but also I experience with it and I powder it. So I made my own onion powder, right? So you can do different varieties. You can play with it, use it for whatever your home desires or whatever you're cooking or doing. You know, just to show you guys some of the Mylar bags that the food is stored in. You guys can see from the video when the lady actually sealed it. This what happens the next day after 24 hours. It sucks all the oxygen pack will suck all the extra oxygen actually that's still in the bag, and you guys can see it's very well preserved. So this is from 4/2023. So this is from April 2023, and these are my bananas because I found a food bank. They had a abundance of bananas, and I did bananas. And as I feel the bag, you guys can still feel it's very crunchy in there. So it's amazing. So I was just thinking about
Tell them how long this.
And this will last in this bag, like the lady said. If it stays sealed like this, there is no air that gets in it. It can last up to, I don't know, 20 years. I don't know. I might keep this one for that long. I'll see what happens. So that's just one of the things. The other option, obviously, these are the Harvest Right bags that they come with. You guys can see how pretty they have it. They're really pretty and just colorful and fun. So Harvest Right really does a great job in all of their products, even their bags and things like that. Everything's just 100% beautiful. I'm going to show you guys. This is an off-brand Mylar bag that I just get from Amazon. And it does the same. It's the same principle. This Mylar bag is a little bit thinner. I think it's 6 millimeters. So, but it did really great job as well. And so this was my squash that I picked. I have abundance of squash in my garden right now. So I've been picking and cutting it, and what I've been doing, just storing it in these. And you guys can see it's sealed amazingly. You can see there's like no air in there by looking at the bag. So this is my two of my different bags that I use, but I love the machine. I really do. You know, like Brother Vitel says, we are farmers. the way I grew up, and now us expanding our farm and what we grow, it really become such a passion for me. So I just right now we're very busy. We've been picking a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, but just going.
You're muted, Jana.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Must have pressed something by mistake. But I was going to talk about the climate. We understand because this year we actually lost a lot of our peach trees. We have about 12 or 14 peach trees that has been established now for about 6 years, and we lost almost everything this year. So it was
hard freeze.
To a hard freeze, and it's obviously this is all climate change. And so and then another farm right down the road from us, it's a big peach orchard. They lost everything. They're not even opening for this season. So it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to see another fellow farmer. It really doesn't matter if it's a dairy farmer, vegetable farmer, fruit farmer. It doesn't matter. Any kind of farming. It's, when the climate, and when we've seen it firsthand, because we've seen it during the COVID, we've seen it during the different floodings out in West, the beef farmers and all the different areas. When that happened, it's just heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. And so we've been so blessed, that I don't know if most of you know, we've been hit by tornado in January in here, but we've been so blessed that it didn't really destroy, but a couple cows and some land in the back, but we've been very, very blessed. So, our hearts always goes to the farmers when something like that happen, and not just farmers, but it affects the community, affects everything, when these type of things happen, the calamities and the storms and tornadoes and things, the floodings, droughts. We've experienced some droughts up here as well, but as Brother Vitel says, I was looking at the video and I'm looking at these children, and I know it's not just South Sudan. I know it's in a lot of different places. This has been ongoing, continuing problem for so long and so many years and so many generations that, our hearts is really, if we can make a difference and some percentage of it, us as a farmers, we've been already doing it on a small scale here. Then if each and every one of us put our heart into it and do something about it, whatever it is, if it's farming, if it's another gift that God has given you, it's really a matter of the heart. It really is. It's a matter of the heart. And we all have to come together as one if we want to make a big difference. So this is our heart. This is our project. I really do believe it's coming together beautifully with Brother Vitel. I'm like I said, the more we talk about it, the more we digging into it, the more we put in our heads together. We talk about a lot of different details when this thing does happen. What are we going to do? Where are we going to have the buildings? How are we going to store things? What are we going to name the things? I mean, I know for us, God has given us, a name for our ministry, but, it's just all those details. We starting somewhere. We started a couple months ago somewhere, but now here we are today. And I think it's a big progress and big success. So I just want to thank you all for listening. I'm going to, if y'all have any questions afterwards, I don't want to be too long. I'm going to give it over to my husband. He can talk to you a little bit about just the dairy side of it, his heart, and some of the, information he has about the other side of, the waste.
Wow. Well, what a great job. So well put together. Moving forward in the dairy industry, which is what we do. We are, producers of raw milk. Back when COVID hit, we just had put in some cows and, we were expanding our business. And then COVID hit and food service went down. Well, when food service goes down, consumption of milk goes down, sale of milk goes down. And the main thing was a packaging issue, because your places that made your gallon jugs and all that went down. People got COVID that were working in those factories. They couldn't produce the gallon jugs, so they had nothing to put the milk in. So a lot of that was due to packaging. So if there would have been a way to take that milk and, let's say, freeze dry it down, and put it to where it could have been reconstituted. It's a similar principle to like doing milk powder. But the freeze drying side of it, I think, gives you a longer shelf life and more longevity, and there's nothing taken out of it. So I think the more I think about it, and when you look at it on that capacity and on that scale, we're talking a lot of milk. So, we're talking a facility that has to handle large volume and be able to turn large volume pretty quick. So that's something that has to be researched pretty heavily and understand how all of that would work. But, some of the other, like other products that would have, not a very long shelf life, but longer than regular, like your yogurts and stuff like that, and your cheeses. Cheeses could be made and then shipped to places where there is a need for that. You're talking about a lot of need for stuff like that. Those needs could be fulfilled if the distance wasn't so far. So that's my dad back there.
Sorry.
So, as far as with the, making the cheese and stuff like that, these places that are in need, that stuff could be readily shipped pretty quick. Now the moving over to the freeze drying side of it, it requires no refrigeration, no special storage. It's just in this bag right here. And they don't weigh anything. So you're looking at 10 times or more the amount of product in, say, a container than it would be not freeze dried, because there's no weight to this stuff. But yet every ounce of nutrition is left back in that product. This is yellow squash that we grew in our garden. So there's nothing taken out of this by freeze drying it. Nutritional wise.
Yes.
So we're able to, you can take a bag like this and probably feed a family of 4, 1 serving per person with a bag this size.
Well, if you
or more.
Yeah, I mean, if you reconstitute it with water.
Right.
But, I was just talking to my husband doing a video. We're watching these children, and those specific situations, you can actually take this and open it, and you don't have to reconstitute it. You can actually eat it like that. You still get the vegetable nutrition value that is in a squash, and you can eat it just like that freeze dried. So think about it, these children don't have any food, they don't have any vegetables, they don't have any fruit, any of that.
Or no way to cook.
No way to cook it.
Anything.
They still can get some that's better than none. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's how I look at things. I look at things from a little bit different perspective. And so they can get the pears, they can get the apples, they can get the peppers, or whatever it is that you have freeze dried, you can get it, and you can still, instead of them go and fish for these things that barely have anything, they can get some things from fruits and vegetables and whatever it is that, I don't have the big varieties because I only have the machine for 4 months. So I'm still digging in, I'm still trying it. I'm still putting different things in there. But pretty much anything that I have put in that machine came out fabulous. So, you know, I'm still experimenting with it, but it's been just a wonderful experience for me, as you know, and aside of the preservation. But do you want to talk about more about the food waste? Or?
So look at it this way. Let's say you had a farmer that grew a field of squash. Okay. All of a sudden, there's no market for his product. Market tanked. Nobody wants it. You could take and go to that farmer, or we could go to that farmer in this platform, and we could say, hey, we're going to buy your field, and then we're going to go ahead and have people come in. We're going to get it picked. We're going to get it sent over to the warehouse, and then it's going to then begin the process of going through the freeze dry. Now we're able to take, not only are we helping that farmer recoup some of his loss or recoup his field back, so there's zero waste happening here in this situation. So that farmer's getting his product taken care of that he worked so very hard for to get it in the ground and to get it to harvest. Now we can come in and we can go ahead and buy that at fair market value, to where he's not working at a loss, because we all know, us farmers, we work at a loss just about all the time. So then we can send it to the facility. It then gets dealt with, goes through the process, and then gets put up in, say, bags like this that says, you know, what it is, it's dated. And then this stuff would be ready to ship, you know, within probably 3 days, because you know you got to get it there, you got to prep it, you got to put it through the machine, then you've got to package it, and then you've got to get it, you know, loaded. So, you know, probably be a week process to get all of this product going out to someplace that's in need. And you know, and this could be done, a lot of this stuff could be done via, you know, air. You know, they could drop it in with plane, helicopter. However, places where, like this place here that we just seen in the video, where we really couldn't get to, you couldn't get to by land, fly it in, you know, fly it in and drop it in, and get sustenance to these people that are in dire need. You seen that lady, how she took ham and she freeze dried ham. You know, you could do some meats and everything, like meats and chicken and fish. All this stuff here is easily freeze dryable, and then it retains all of its nutrients and everything. So when you're looking at that on a large scale, and then you look at, like what Vitel said, you go to a food bank, you know, when they get their food, that's food that's coming already from the grocery stores and the suppliers that's almost ready to go out of date. Well, guess what? Now we take that food, and it may be out of date. It may be going out of date. Let's say it's going out of date today. Okay. Well, we run it through the facility. Now, guess what? That date just got extended 25 years. No waste. Zero. Now we can take that and ship it out. You know, and getting back to, you know, the farmer side of it, you know, with the dairy industry, you know, when there is a abundance of milk, or you know, what do? They have to find some place to go with it. So do they dump it, or would we be able to put it through a facility? And I mean, we're not talking 1 or 2 gallons. We're talking maybe thousands of gallons. You know, and if there was a way, you know, they also do the milk to where it's shelf stable, in where it requires no refrigeration, which that's pretty wild to me. But you know, that's another avenue to get it. But that stability still has a window. Freeze drying's window does this. It expands that window. So when you think about this for each and every one of you, like for your home, like what we did, you know, we no longer really have to have any waste in our house. So if my wife makes a meal and we have leftovers, she can opt to freeze dry it. If we don't eat it the next day or the next day or two, we could freeze dry it. Or let's say she makes extra, you could take half of it and freeze dry it, and then we have it put up. So really what we're looking at here is we're looking at a couple of things. You're looking at longevity, you're looking at nutritional quality, and you're looking at availability. It's readily available with no preparation. I mean, it's just open a bag and start eating. Or if you had a small heat source, you could boil water and reconstitute. So, it makes it very easy to get this done. I mean, the military's been doing it for years. It's the same thing as an MRE, a meal ready to eat, that the Army or the military uses. Just these here probably have a little bit better flavor.
Put in it.
Depends what you put in it.
See what you put in it.
So,
But
at the end of the day, it's all about what can you do to get some quality nutrition to those poor kids and families that are in need.
Absolutely. Because we've heard there's a nutrition problem. There's a malnutrition problem. These children, when they go and however they do measure what's in their bodies, it's a problem. They have no right nutrition. Listen, it's the same thing. You can go and eat a box of cereal for 3 days, but you're not going to get any nutrition for your body. Guess what? Because there's really not nutrition value for our body. It's only a little bit in there that it will satisfy you, but it's not giving you any benefits for your body. And so when it comes to nutrition, this is where me and my husband are huge on this, because my husband used to bodybuild since he was 18 years old. So, to me as well, we're looking for the, even for our family, we make sure that we get the nutrition that our children need, that we need. Why? Because we want to preserve our bodies as long as we can, keep the temple clean. We have to keep our bodies, I was going to say it. We got to keep our bodies clean so that way we can raise up our children, and our children can train and raise up the next generation and teach them the right, because we've lost that so long ago and so many years with these new things coming up, this nonsense thing, plant-based and all these different things. They brainwash us. And I know we talk about this, and I'm very passionate about this. So I have to be really careful how far do I go, but it's very important. It's so important that if I'm not going to put it in my body, I'm definitely not going to put it in my children's body. I'm definitely not putting it in somebody else's body. That's how I look at it in our home. That's why we grow a lot of our stuff. We were blessed with the land, so we are putting things in. This year, we expanded our garden. We had abundance of squash. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a hard work. I have to go in there. I have to clip it all the time. I got to carry these leaves and all that stuff. It's a sweat, hard work. But at the end of the day, we put a work in it. I know it has a nutrition value. I know it has benefits for our body, for my children, for our family. We can store abundance of it as well. Guess what? When squash is not available at the store, I know now is, but I don't know where things are coming from. I read labels a lot of times. I care where things coming from. I look at the stuff at the grocery store. I do, because I care, right? I care. So, I'm very passionate about it. And so we will have a squash for the whole winter. And guess what? I know it came from my garden. I know it has a good nutrition value. I know we didn't spray nothing on it. I know it's going to be good when I'm going to make that squash casserole or whatever, if I'm going to just eat it like as a chips or however I'm going to cook it. So it's very, very important to us. So, we just want to educate people. We want to just give the information out, and we want to just do something, even if it's just little right now. We're going to grow this garden in the fall. We try to cut a piece of our land behind our house, and when the fall comes here in Georgia, we're going to put a bunch of greens. Whatever is that season going to go, we want to grow it and try to see how it's going to go. And we really want to find those families even around us that don't have anything, and we just want to bless them with it, because it's everywhere. I know there's some places, a lot worse than ours, but it's also around us. It's here. It's all around us. You can't avoid it. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But the food but the food waste, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. It breaks my heart when I just look at the slides, I look at the photos, I look at the vegetables, and I know the farmers work so hard, because I know we are farmers. We work very hard. And when you see that waste, especially in the restaurants and grocery store, that's the major places that have food waste. It breaks my heart. It really does, because I'm thinking about what else can we do with it? How else we can preserve it? And then you see these children. I mean, if anything, children should never starve. Children should never be without. Never, ever. You know, so our hearts always goes for the children.
You seen that pile of wasted vegetables and stuff like that in that video? Do you know those starving people would eat that just the way it is, just because it's food?
Yes.
That is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking to see that, all of that wasted product just going to a landfill that's now that's creating carbon. You're expanding the carbon footprint and everything, when all that stuff could really, can it be avoided? I'm sure it can. Can that waste be minimized? I'm sure it can. But are we lazy? Are we lazy, or do we not want to take the extra step and go the extra mile? Or are we worried about, is it getting in our pocket? Is it going to cost us $1? What's it going to cost us to get that out? You know, are there some companies that, you know, here you are, you got some of these people out here sitting with a lot more dollars than us. Why can't they contribute to some shipping and get that stuff? Let's get that stuff out instead of wasting it, throwing it away.
Well, and that's where it's matter of the heart, really. Whatever you do, wherever you are, and if you're a farmer or doctor or whatever, you know, we all were created to help. You know, we are created to help somebody else in this world, educate somebody else in this world. We're not here really for ourselves. So, you know, it really is a matter of heart. So if we can start within ourselves and look at our hearts as, okay, God, what can we contribute as a farmer? I know for us, we pray when God has put us in here in this land in the middle of nowhere and took us away from everything and everybody, we had a lot of questions. We did not understand why we were here. I said, God, what are we doing in here in the middle of nowhere? Literally, God has placed us in the middle of nowhere. We are in the woods. There's like 30 minutes to town everywhere. I said, God, what are we doing? And then God began to just, you know, slowly begin to show us, okay, this is what I want you to do now. We're expanding. God wants us to expand. Can we expand big? We would love to, but I know God is going to make a provision. He's going to bring the people. He's going to make the provision eventually to use the land. But we, you know, we starting small. We asking God, okay, God, what do you want us to grow today? What do you want to grow? What do you want us to grow this season? You know, he told us to put the bees on a property. We put 2 hives this year on a property. We want to expand. We want to teach people. We want to show people, if we can do it, you can do it too. Even if you have a little bit of land, I encourage people, even if you have a raised bed, put something in it. You will make a change. So it has to start within ourselves. You'd be surprised what you can grow in a small 5x10 area. Actually, I'm just going to share this. My mom, you know, all my family lives in Europe, and, you know, obviously they live in apartments. They're very small, very tiny. So the way I was raised, you know, we had a small refrigerator and we go to the grocery store every day. We didn't waste anything. Whatever we need for that day or next day, we buy it fresh because, you know, back in times, everything was fresh. So it expired a lot sooner. So, you know, we couldn't stock our fridges because we have a tiny refrigerators and we can only stock so much in it. And I told my mom, I said, you know, she's got a small balcony. I said, why don't you put a couple plants of tomatoes? And she did. And she shows me every day. She got like 3 plants and she got little small green tomatoes on it, you know, so you can, you know, you can do it. Even if you just have a little bit, it's really up to us. So anyway, we're just gonna hump off because we talk too much anyway, but we can talk forever because that's our passion. But I thank you guys for listening to us, you know, and we're hearing our hearts. And if you guys have any questions or, you know, here. We are always here. Get a hold of Vitel. We can educate, we can help you with whatever it is, nutrition. If you want to know anything about food and things like that. What's going on in the grocery store? What's happening in the US? We do have a lot of information about that. So anyway.
But now, mind you, we're not doctors.
Yeah.
We're not any of that. We're just simple farmers, but we pay attention.
Yes, we pay attention. Oh, we have common sense. We got common sense. Yes,
That's
we
it.
got common sense.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very, very much. I just want to personally say thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Jana and Jeff. It has been, and of course, Vitel, King Vitel. It was an eye-opener for me personally. Over to you, Queen Irene.
Okay. Wow. Thank you very much, Jana and Jeff. We really appreciate this. And, you know, watching what King Vitel had showed earlier, and then with what you just presented, we know that we have a solution coming up. Something that we can do to help people, especially like what we saw in South Sudan with the flood and people starving and all whatnot. And then we see tons of food ending up in the junkyard, not junkyard. Well, anyway, but you know, I looked at it and I was asking what happened? How did God make the world that way? That, you know, in one side of the world, there's so much food they are wasting. And then in another side of the world, people are scrambling, struggling, and they don't have anything to eat. It's sad, but with the passion that you have and the passion that all of us are now building in us, we are going to be a solution to those who are struggling. So thank you very much. We'd love to know the price of that machine and how to get it. Because even here that we are in the US having food that we throw away, we would love to save some, but you know, we can never keep it longer than we would love to. So thank you very much. And I know that there are a lot of people here who also appreciated this and may have some questions. So we'll give that opportunity if anyone has any questions for our presenters. All three of them.
Just to quickly answer that question that you asked earlier, it's anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000. So, and that is for the home usage one. The non-commercial, about 3,000 to 5,000. And God did not cause anything. It's our choices that we make on this earth. Because if we didn't make the choices to be doing so much farming and doing so much of that type of getting food on that large scale, if every one of us could just have a little you know, home farm for ourselves, you know, that big factory type farming is what causing a lot of emissions, which is doing bad for the country, well, for the world, really and truly. So it's not something that God caused. All right, just to quickly clear up that, because God,
right.
we blame
Okay.
God, we blame God for so many things that it's not funny. But anyway, thank you very much.
All righty. So I see we have some hands up, and I believe these are for our presenters. So I'm gonna call on Brand Ambassador Singh. I can't see your other name. It's all uppercase. If you can unmute yourself. I just asked for you to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Maybe if you could take Shaggy first, since he's one of the.
Oh, okay. His hand just popped up. Okay. All right. Brand Ambassador Shaggy.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Vitel, thank you so much for this information shared today. And the couple, pardon me, I didn't write down your name. Thank you so much. I put a question in the chat. This is a country where there is so much information, but some people don't even know. I'm hearing about this tool for the first time today, and it's mind blowing. I'm asking myself, let me show you on the camera. You see this? I bought this 2 weeks ago to hand out to the homeless. It rained on those Sundays, I couldn't take it out. And it says good only for June 26th. 2 weeks after, I have to throw it away. If I know this instrument, I will put this in and they will preserve. I just saw one and I want to ask you a question. Is it the same thing as food dehydrator? Is that another name for it?
No,
No,
it's not a dehydrator.
No, there are two, hydration and freeze dry. Read is two different process.
Yeah, I saw the prices, right? I saw one for 2,600, which I'm going to order today. But I saw one for 199, and I thought, oh, maybe this is good. So I waited.
The preservation is a different process. But
the cheapest one I saw.
Freeze dry.
I went to Amazon.com and I put, freeze and dry, and a bunch of stuff came up. The cheapest one I found is 2,600. I'm buying it today. I don't know why I didn't know about this. I have no idea why.
Okay, let me just tell you that, I'm just so grateful that we actually can help somebody else, because we really truly don't know what information we carry until we share it with somebody else. And so it's really a blessing to know that, because we assume when we have information that everybody else know. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. And so I'm really grateful that you didn't know, and we knew that coming on that now people's gonna know. And if we can help somebody else, and then you can share that information with somebody else, maybe you can even help somebody in need by having that machine. We have stuff, stack up in our bin. If there's somebody we know who's gonna need it, guess what? We're gonna give it away before we even consume it ourselves. That's just the beauty of, our hearts. But just for your question, just if you are gonna order the machine, I know they have a summer sale right now on harvestright.com. It's really best to order it. Like, I don't trust Amazon and other companies just to order for them. Just make sure you order from the company, because they stand behind their warranty. Because I know with us, what we experienced when they ship us for our first machine and got dented somewhere, I don't know if it was in a FedEx or somewhere, they had to exchange it. So just make sure when you do order your machine, make sure you order it from the company. Make sure that you order the one what you want and things like that. So I did a lot of research before, obviously for years, but
make sure
on the chat, I can reach out to you after the meeting to get the right place to get the right thing, because I need this machine yesterday.
So you need to make sure too is when you order it.
Yes.
When you order it and it gets delivered, before it comes off the truck, you open that thing up and you look at it and visually inspect it to make sure there's no dents, damage, or anything. Because if there is, you can refuse delivery and they'll send it back and send you another one.
Yes.
And that'll eliminate some headache.
Thank you.
Yes, and also for the home, like for us, we just ordered the medium one, because obviously we couldn't spend $5,000 for extra large ones, but praise God, we have the medium one, and it's been working very well for us. But I know there's some large and extra large. I personally don't have a room for extra large because I have it in my laundry room. It's pretty heavy, and I have it on I order like a stool for it that it sits on. It's on a wheel, so I can move it if I needed to. But it's got to be in a space when the climate it's same, because if it gets too hot, because remember it's freeze drying, and then the pump kicks on, so it gets hot in the place, and it will slow the process. So make sure you have it in a place, a ventilator or an AC. If you're gonna have it outside, it's gonna take you forever to freeze dry anything in it because it's hot.
And then the last thing you got to remember is you're going to have two options for the vacuum pump. You're going to have an oilless one that requires no oil or no changing oil, but it's significantly more money.
Yes.
Or you can get the one that just comes with it, and then you just change the oil every 25 batches, which is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Considering that oilless one bumps the price about $1,500.
Yeah.
So it's a significant jump for convenience. But it's my wife can change the oil.
If you can afford it, go for the oilless, because my friend, she could afford it and she says she loves it. She doesn't have to change it or nothing in it. So if you can afford it, go for it. We couldn't, so we just changing it all, but it's really not a big deal. It's a matter of like 5 minutes just to drain the oil and change it. So
right.
Thank you. So the question I asked in the chat is, if this machine is available, why is Restaurant Depot? Why is all this restaurant throwing all this food away every day?
Because they don't want to take the time to do it.
So
they don't want to take the time to process that, because see, like the ones like we have, you can only process about, I think it's 7 to 10 pounds at a time, because you have those trays. So you're a little limited on, now if they could get into commercial and get into the larger ones, like let's say one of your big restaurants had a commercial one sitting out and in a facility outside where they could take their leftover food from the evening from that day and put it in there. Then they could freeze dry it, and then they could take that food and send it to a food bank or go out to. So see, the other thing that just came to my mind right now was, why not equip some restaurants with a facility for them? So, because at the end of the night, what do they do with the food? They throw it away. They can't give it away. They throw it away. So
they can't give it away by law.
By law. So why can't they take it, put it in a freeze dryer, freeze dry it down, and then give that to, send that out?
Sorry, I just wanted to say something about the law.
Yes.
Depends on the society in which you live in. Like in the United States, they have laws that they have to abide by, that you have to, you cannot just cook food in a restaurant and the leftover, you give it to somebody that you want to hide.
Right.
Because that person
they won't let you.
may be sick of something, and then they turn around and come sue you who gave the food to help them because they had food poisoning. That can actually kill the business. So because of the law, they have to go and change the laws so that those things can be, can happen. Sorry, I had to say something.
Right. I think what you would have to do is you would have to have some language in there that once that product hit the freeze dryer, the restaurant is no more liable. The liability, they're relieved of any liability. It now comes to whoever is managing that facility at that restaurant. So let's say it's company A. Okay. Now they're taking all the restaurant's meals that were prepared and putting them in they're going in the freeze dryer. And then now those are getting freeze dried down, but now those meals are given to company A or donated or something like that, but they're relieved of any liability after the fact.
Yeah.
And
thank you. I'm aware of that, because with Panera, I had to deal with Panera that I had to get a $1 million insurance policy on for them to give me, things that down for the night. But my real question is, if I know this equipment, most of what I get that I'll go on the Sunday could just go straight into this equipment.
Sure.
But I'm totally blindsided this type of thing exists. So I want to ask you one question. The one you have, the medium size you have, how much did it cost? 2,000-3,000?
So the medium size, I think we got it on a sale, was 2,600 plus. I order a couple extra trays because it comes with 4 trays. I order 4 extra trays because I have a lot more in my garden that I need pre-cut. And
why you ordered the tray.
Well, the reason I order extra trays because while I'm cutting and putting stuff on the 4 trays, and put it in my freeze dryer. Whatever I have extra in my garden, I pre-cut and put it on those extra trays and put it in my freezer. So I pre-freeze it. Then I put it in a freeze dryer. So it just speeds up the process. Because if you can put it in a fresh, but it's going to take a little bit longer. So what I do, I cut up, let's say I have squash and cut it up, put it on my trays, and then I put it in my freezer and I pre-freeze it for an hour or so. And when my machine is ready to put it in, I take it, put it in, and it just takes a less time to freeze dry it. That's all, because it's already pre-frozen.
So she's always preparing an extra set of trays for the next run.
Right.
So she pulls the trays out, new run goes in.
Wow. All right.
Brother Shaggy.
Yes.
You were asking about costing.
Yes.
The person that I'm in contact with at Harvest Right.
Yes.
I can give you, like, let's say, if you want to buy 5 units, 10 units, the price comes down. It's all about negotiation.
Okay. We'll talk.
If you have if a group of us decide to buy, 10 units, I think the price will come down drastically. But the price that I got quotation is the extra large.
Okay.
That was about over $5,000 per unit. And you're buying 10 units, you get about a 13.2% discount. No, that's what it is. It's all, all negotiable.
Vitel,
Yes.
Bear in mind too, that I think the extra large unit, you need to check the power supply on that to make sure that you don't have to have a specific current or a certain type of plug, like a dryer plug or something like that. The one that we have is just a regular 110. We just have it on a dedicated circuit.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk more details. Thank you so much, guys, for
yes, sir.
You're welcome.
Information that's been there, but we just totally blindsided of what can be done. So we are putting the freezer now. That's we prepare for next Sunday, and sometimes we do all this preparation, and it rains, and the homeless people are not. And then we go to some shelters, give some out. Now we have leftovers. No choice of the 20 bin. I don't even need a law for that. We prepare the food. I could just blow dry, like you said, and wait for next Sunday. We put in the freezer, but it's not the same when you freeze the food and you unfreeze it. It's soggy.
Right.
End of
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You won't have to do anything. You freeze dry it, you put it in your living room.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this information. Brother Vitel, thank you.
All right. Thank you for that information. Thank you, Brother Shaggy. All right. So we still have a packed full agenda. And so we will take the 2 hands that are up, and then we'll move on to the next agenda on our program today. So let me call on Brand Ambassador Rita.
Hello. Hi, happy Sunday morning, afternoon, and night to everyone around the world. Thank you so much, and happy Sunday to everyone. I just want to talk a little bit about what Brother Vitel presented about South Sudan. Actually, I am from South Sudan, and I want to say thank you very much for bringing this situation up about South Sudan and what is going in South Sudan. What it shows, this is really how South Sudan is going through. And it's not only now South Sudan, it is including Northern Sudan with the war that is going right now in Northern Sudan. So most of this, the climate change is really turned South Sudan like 360 degrees from what it used to be and what they are facing right now, like 3-4 years, plus the war that was been going on. So in terms of the nutrition and what you guys saw about the children that are suffering and so, yes, that is happening, and most of it because of the corruption that is going on in the country, including the UN, that pretend that they are helping South Sudan in terms of the nutrition towards the children. Like I was in Toronto last week, and I find out that Canadian government gave South Sudan 200 million to support the nutrition and, like, you know, to UN to support this issue that is going. But guess what? Most of this money is not going really towards the program that they implemented. Yes, they gave that money, but the UN is the one that managing the money. They just want the report of what this money was being used to. But guess what? This money actually that is going towards the program, let me say maybe 10%. 90% is not doing exactly what attempt to be for. Like we have a UN, like international staff. This alone is taking maybe 50% of this money, because they are coming from different country and they are being paid. They have incentive. They have whatever it is, plus transportation. And guess what? Why not even to employ the local people to look after their people, because they know the language, they know what they eat, they work, like, just to supply them with that money. Like, okay, let it be supervised by the international, but why not to use the local people to help their own people? Secondly, that situation is, most of it also is made like by human-made disaster. It's not all that is what do you call it? It's a climate change, because yes, climate change can be bad, but that one came from man-made, because we used to have tons and tons of the trees, but all of it, because of the war, they cut it down. That is why now we are suffering from that situation, that we have a flood. There is not a place to. Yes, they used to cultivate. Nothing is called hunger because there before the war, but because of the corruption of the government, because of the corruption of this is all what has been going around. So I believe, and really I hope that you and I, because
Okay,
of the
Sister Rita, we are not hearing you anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So now what we are going to happen, and I believe that with ONPASSIVE, with all blessed, that you and I, for the love of the humanity, you know, all this corruption is going to stop. All this thing is going to stop. We will not see any child around the world dying from hunger or because that there is not food. And this corruption will stop one day. Thank you very much, Brother Vitel, for bringing this issue. Thank you.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen. Yep. You know, it is our prayer that ONPASSIVE should give us that ability to be able to help this and, you know, get the, you know, what the people need directly to them. You're right. With all what is going on in the world, like Brother Vitel had explained earlier, yeah, government corruptions and all of that is part of it. And I don't think we can actually help that now. But ONPASSIVE is here to correct the corruption, and we will do it. Amen. All right. So before we go to our next agenda, I just want to check with Sister Yvonne if we have any questions in the chat.
No, Sister Irene, we don't have a thing there. I guess everybody is really well informed because this is a big, big topic. So no questions at all.
Yeah, I guess everybody was paying attention and just, you know,
yes.
gleaning everything from the presentation. All right, well, thank you very much. So we're going to move forward to updates. And I'm not sure if we need to keep the YouTube open or we're going to continue with them.
I think, Sister Irene, I think the update from this week was on YouTube. I think we can leave the YouTube open because I think Ash came out on 360 Live and Roblin, which are all YouTube Live, right? I think we can keep it open. But if anything, if any complaint come back, trust me, I will trim it out. But I think for now we're okay to say that it's safe for us to leave it open. So you
All
can
right.
go over to the update team.
So this is my best part of the webinar updates. And so over to you, update team.
Oh, mercy. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our global ambassadors and those that are on YouTube who is watching at this time still and maybe watching in the future. Thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful presentation, food preservation. Because listen, food is a waste. Is really a major waste in our society today. With all these fancy restaurants and fast food restaurant and oh my goodness, it's just a mess with how we handle food from we get it from the ground or from we get it from the farm right till it reach on the table. It's a mess how it is being prepared, really and truly. But that's another topic and another story. And really and truly, thank you very much, Jana and Jeff, really appreciate it. And of course, Sir Vitel. And I just want to say thank you very much, Queen Lerato. It was a wonderful mindset. But I just want to elaborate that it's not juicy anymore. The elaborate word for that now is succulent. That's the elaborate word. Okay, so you know, juices is what little kindergarten and little children maybe use. The elaborate word is succulent. Oh my goodness, nice, wonderful. Okay, good. And so with the updates team, we will be having Queen Candla and King Alfred. I'm not seeing Queen Miriam today, so it's Queen Candla. Say a few words.
Hi, greetings, fellow brand global ambassadors. It's a pleasure once more for us to be here together. And I am looking forward to be of service with the updates to you all. Thank you.
Wonderful. And so also King Alfred. I think
You're
it would be
muted.
easier if you unmute. It would be a little easier.
Oh, right. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the Dream Team updates, where everyone is excited to hear this update being delivered to you. Buckle up because it's going to be hot.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, King Alfred. Very well. Thank you very much. And we know it is the updates time. And so take it away. Take it away, Queen Candla.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. Mr. Ash Mufarin, MIT, 12 July 2023. Are you ready? Ash, what's all the buzz about? Did you hear that? What's all the buzz about?
ONPASSIVE.
ONPASSIVE.
Yeah. The teams are hard at work, day and night. We should acknowledge there is much positive pressure, accountability, and pride.
How I feel for the first time, we have cultivated a sense of greatness. When change someone's life, that is a sign of greatness. To do something great in just 1 second, something blocking. Okay, it's in. Doing
Is.
Okay. Something blocking part of it. Just give me one. Let me clear it, please.
Okay. How
Okay,
I feel
I got
for
it.
the first time, we have cultivated a sense of greatness. When you change someone's life, that is a sign of greatness. To do something great is not doing a presentation. Greatness is when someone else has improved from your effort.
Oh, yes.
Leaders, start that journey to greatness for being an initiator.
Oh, yes.
Package cost. The cost of the first package will be a quarterly fee. Or Connect with 1,000 seats and unlimited sessions. After that 90-day period, the cost will be re-evaluated. There will be more packages available, some smaller, some bigger at different price ranges. These prices will be assessed and revised quarterly.
This price for the founders, when finalized, will include all credits applied in the wallet. Stay tuned for that news. It will be explained in the document you sign when paying for the package. To be accurate, let us listen to Mr. Mufaret explain this process.
Listen carefully.
The cost, the first 3 months will be as a package. So it's not a monthly, so it will be a quarter, okay? It's not annual, and it will be one package available. 1,000 seats unlimited. After the 90 days expire, or 3 months period, it will be more packages, smaller, bigger, different prices, but we will assess and revise the prices accordingly. Okay? So the first month, we're going to apply the monthly price, subtract all the credit you have, including the $97 for the founding members only. Non-founding members, just regular users, would not have that discount. So we will apply your $97 fully, not minus any fees. So there you go. And for the 3 months, you will pay under $200 for sure with the discounts, okay? And there is more discount, but the cost is above 100, okay? You know what? It's going to be out there. It will be $125 per month, but the founders will pay nearly third of the 3 months cost. You follow me? So you get in between the lines. So the founding members, but regular members would pay, you know, the full price.
Wonderful. And so let us not get into advertising on passive from a monetary side of view. Let us get into advertising our business in a value point of view. And so commissions, we have actual products to sell with commissions per sale. That is how you make commissions, per sale. Not because Tom Brown and John Strokes join your business. No, it's not that type of business. It is per sale. You sell something, you make commission. That is it. Leave it up to the company, though. Let us leave it up to the company. Let us listen. Ash Mufareh is doing everything in his possible, physical and financially possible to let us be well off. So don't worry about it. Leave that to the company. We have several legal teams in different regions to make sure we are in compliance. Remember, you know, we're talking about over 200 countries, you know. So it's not, we're not opening a little patty shop down the road. All right. This is a full-blown international global company already in 200 countries. 5 countries of registration, registered fully in 5 countries. So it's not a little dibby company we're talking about with this ONPASSIVE. With all the regulatory departments ONPASSIVE have that has to go through all of these compliance and regulations in different regions. Oh my goodness. Listen, let us leave that alone. When a company starts tracking people, it's red flags, okay?
Will thrill you. The lawyers have to check and recheck to make sure it all works. It pleases me to make sure I can give as much as I can. We do not want to damage the journey. Oh yes, it's been 5 years. It's been that journey and we do not want to damage it now.
Yes.
Ethics, integrity, and value before money. Did we hear that?
Yes.
Ethics, integrity, and value, lifting up humanity before money.
Exactly.
Money is powerful, but doesn't bring happiness, purpose, etc.
I am intrigued by being the most generous, impactful, valuable company over the richest company. Helping others to maximize their potential is the it's the goal. Don't be stuck by the details of what the commissions will be. Leave it up to the experts to give you the best. I found a way to be compliant, but the challenge is to be unlimited. Did you hear that?
A couple of years ago, I explained the pillars necessary for a business. A couple of years ago, I explained the pillars necessary for a business. Unlimited and not to compete, but being able to work together. Let us work together. From day one, we want to play by the book, but the book is corrupted. So the challenge is to keep the unlimited factor, uniqueness, etc., and still be in compliance.
Answers to panel questions. If you buy any of the products, the one single sign-on to the ecosystem is designed across with any of the other products needed to operate that product. All roads lead to Rome. The beauty of owning the ecosystem is to apply any applications needed to run any standalone product. You're muted, Alfred.
We create the features to work across the ecosystem. The passive technology is designed to work all across the system. It can be sold as an API, which is application programming interface. Companies and business then sell it, and ONPASSIVE charges them by usage.
Everything becomes a reusable technology for future applications. The work has been done. Examples: Connect, the integration with everything else, calendar, contact, live universal data that can be retrievable across the ecosystem. It all becomes reusable for every other product to come now and into the future.
It is now just a matter of integration. Who wouldn't pay something attached to travel services from ONPASSIVE if we do anything that will save time, money, more futures, etc. And we share the world. It is disruptive. Any product starts with a template, and ONPASSIVE has developed the template.
Rolling out, new on it. Hey, then verify. Remember what verify is?
Oh, yes.
No charge. No charge. The status of the second data center. Whoa! Data center. Now, listen, when you talk about a data center, you know, we're talking about the platform that which every company has to have to run. Is under work. Teams have traveled in multiple countries and will soon be in the UK, United Kingdom, of course.
Oh, yes.
It will be the most advanced data system out there. Once we get that level of data control beyond the digital arena, then there will be a life after ONPASSIVE. Hey!
Remember, we don't say it unless we have it and more. If I have said it, we have it and more. Oh, connect. There will not be a dial-in feature. That is old school.
Old school.
Yes. We are looking forward, ahead.
Yes.
We have plans to sell products as standalone API, and it becomes a revenue generator.
Oh, yes. For some products, a company can, in the future, become an agency, be given an exclusive reseller status for a region, etc. ONPASSIVE will give them a business model to be applied and then received continuous revenue for their usage. This is a service product model. All looks luxurious, all looks luxurious and deluxe. Be on the lookout. A creative mobile service.
Mercy.
Mercy.
There is a different positions. There are different positions you can attain in the company. How high do you want to go? To be compliant and unlimited by working together, that is the key to bring disruptive and to last.
Yes.
Yes. Take competition out of the equation. We all win or we all lose. We need to create a model where all work together to accomplish the goal. That is what we are striving for.
Can you repeat that again?
Yes.
Take competition out of the equation. We all win or we lose.
Oh, yes.
We need to create a model where all work together to accomplish the goal. That is what we are striving for. Oh, connect, speech to speech. Oh, mercy. That is a revolutionary feature.
Oh, mercy.
It was tested today. We will see it applied very soon with no extra price.
Nice.
This will make a huge buzz. Oh, sorry, I can't see the last.
In the market.
In the market.
In the market.
Safety, satisfied data center, compliance, DORA Act, very difficult to comply, and ONPASSIVE is making sure it is compliant in 200 plus countries. Legality for documentation, data center security, logistics, massive work to get this accomplished. ONPASSIVE has 2 compliance departments, Dubai and Hyderabad.
Nice. The financial compliance massive work to achieve. Massive work to achieve. People, this is not a little fly-by-night patty shop round the road. This is a major company. Or verify data collected. This must have the highest of security measures. Eventually, we will have control with no third-party needs. That is achieving full 100% freedom.
Yes.
Alternative emails will not be needed later. Oh, no, never hear. Never hear.
Yes.
Alternate email will not be needed later. Founder's
No
position
more
will not,
Yahoos.
founder's position will not be necessary over time, as well as other previous needs will be replaced. Always striving ahead of the game.
Oh, mercy. Today, the teams worked on O Connect to eliminate steps. Today, we eliminated 4 steps and now up to 25 speakers.
Yes. Yes.
Can attendees' mics come on by default? That is a good question we all have been hearing. Mr. Ash will work on that, so stay tuned. Oh, verify.
Oh, yes.
Multiple options are needed for different countries. Passports, video, physical address, etc. But in the most simplistic way,
for each
country, it is so powerful to have this verification.
Nice.
O Tracker integrated with O Mail. Tracker paid so O Mail is perfect of it.
Oh, yes.
Part of it. O Mail Pro, or another name, will be a paid email service with more business features. Each week, there is a build up and release for each product, no price increase. Did you hear that?
Wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Will people join now? Have the same traffic? Up to now, the traffic has been for founders exclusively. Founding members will always have exclusive traffic incentives. New resellers will not have the same.
7,800 accounts not able to access OMail. When the data adjustment happened, some accounts did not allow the transfer. The solution has been developed. It will be resolved shortly.
Thank you.
Ash guarantees that no one will be left behind unless they want to.
Yes. Trust in the company. Most could not accomplish what ONPASSIVE has done up till this point. I know how to market, and it will market for any level of business person. This is the recipe for success for all involved, not just a few.
ONPASSIVE over time has given confidence to do more. The daily arrows are many. And by being able to stand tall against all the resistance for the past 5 years, the company has created the brand to stay strong as we go ahead. We have less risk because of the progress already accomplished. No looking Back.
Yes. Being engaged is very important. In 1 month, so much will happen, and you will feel lost if you don't keep informed.
Yes.
Let me repeat that again.
Yes.
Being engaged is very important. In 1 month, so much will happen, and you will feel lost if you don't keep informed. This is your safety mask. Purchase the products to set yourself in place to earn commissions. Then once you have your personal needs met, make it a goal to reach out to others and build a legacy to leave.
Oh, yes. AI is going to help target who to connect to within ONET. Not used for advertising, etc. Permission-based with a yay or nay, accept or decline. No necessary algorithm is needed to connect. It is comforting to know that one does not need to understand all the details of the company and the products because the company is going to bring you along.
Wonderful. Just to elaborate a little on that first paragraph, unlike Facebook advertise on Facebook, and that's how Facebook, one of the ways that Facebook make money is advertising on Facebook. Another way is selling your information, of course. We with ONET is not an advertising platform. Let me say that again. ONET is not an advertising platform. Beautiful. So never follow someone who doesn't outgrow you. You will continue to grow from the one who is always moving ahead of you. The company is right where it needs to be, not lacking. It's right where it needs to be today.
This information will be communicated to founders in a formal, scripted way as we move forward. There will be no lack of communication. I am afraid of the miscommunication that will be spun inappropriately. Dependent versus independent.
Yes.
Successful people do not ask how much it costs, but how much can I achieve?
Oh, yes.
Etc.
Dependent people focus on money. Independent people do not worry about the cost. Trust the company, know what is available, and do your best to utilize the products. Take the extra mile. Be watching for a new exciting website coming.
Nice. The law of the lid. I feel more at ease now with the team that we can handle what we are doing, what we are going to offer. Marketing in India is moving forward more now than the company understands the culture of India, more especially in the younger generations. So many creative things are coming for India. We will all win. We are going big in India.
A bunch of products associated with AV coming this year. Text-to-speech and 3 levels of recorded recaps on O-Connect developed. O-Verify will have instructions. O-Bless is not a crowdfunding. It is a platform to provide creative solutions through productive projects and tragedies.
Nice.
I have an ambition and will provide a solution to eliminate starvation.
Amen.
If people are well fed, they can start developing their potentials, just like what we heard today.
Yes, freeze dry.
Connect conference up to 100 speakers, webinar, 1,000 attendees, 25 speakers. Don't rush into presenting to new folks and let the company produce a format to share.
Colin Powell, General of the U.S. Army and former Secretary of State, said, "Success is the result of perfection, hard work, learning from failure, loyalty, and persistence." Having an appreciation of where we are with the development of ONPASSIVE today is something to be grateful for.
One can never be over-prepared. So keep preparing for the next step. Logging in, sharing company blogs, company YouTube, shorts, etc. Make no mistake, we are going big. It is a done
deal.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers are powerful with ONPASSIVE.
And so therefore,
ONPASSIVE.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. This was our update for 16. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, update team. Who can dispute that this is not the best updates ever, always. Thank you very much, update team. Thank you very much. So I'm sure that even if you heard it from Ash, you are hearing it again. And every time it is more uplifting. And every time it's like it's new. And, you know, it brings hope. And we are hoping for the best. And be patient. Brothers and sisters, be patient. It is coming. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. All right. So thank you very much. So moving forward, it will be time for questions and discussion. So if
this is Yvonne here, Mr. Irene. There is one long question in the chat. I'd like to read it if I may, please. It's from a doctor. Thank you. It's from a Dr. Ben, and he says, "Please, I have a question that's been bothering me. Our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufarwar, told us multiple millionaires will join ONPASSIVE. My question is, what if those money bags buy up all the traffic, put their money of it, don't buy and leave and leave us out? Is there a standard put in place to counter this? Remember, you are free to buy as much traffic as you want. That is the question."
Okay, all right. Now that we're good.
If we could close this,
that's what I was just going to say. So, but before we close the YouTube, can our Q&A question and discussion team, can you please just say something quickly to introduce yourself? Irene, they will close the YouTube because we want to give room for any question, even proprietary question, to be asked.
All right, our question and discussion team. You here? Say something.
Yes, we are here. Thank you.
That question is good. It's tickling here.
Okay,
Yes.
so I would just like to say something very quickly. No one will be left behind. How many times do we need to hear that? Okay, that's my take on that.
Yes.
All right, could we close YouTube, please?
Yes, we waiting for question and discussion team to just say something quickly. We'll close YouTube. Come on, introduce yourself. Q&D group, please.
My name is Aisha Ndanusa, connecting from Lagos, but presently in Abuja. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brother Vitel, for that wonderful eye-opening information on climate exchange. As Sister Lerato said, we can be the best we can through loving each other. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can take it from here, Sister Kamla. Thank you, our viewers.
All right, thank you, Sister Aisha. My name is Kanla Rachel Ngea from US, Delaware. And it's my pleasure once more to be back with the question and answer team. Thank you, Queen Lorato. Thank you, our guest speakers for today, Jana and Jeff. Thank you, King Vitel. That was an awesome presentation. So much to take in, but we'll have follow-up questions later. So we want to appreciate everybody and glad to be here. Over to you, Queen Dr. Benny.
All right. Greetings. Happy Sunday. All right, my name is Dr. Benny Tingleta. Right, anyway, before I say anything, right, I just want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us together. Our Heavenly Father brought Jana and Jeff to us. They taught us a lot. I just want to thank you, Jana and Jeff, because first of all, you guys believe in God. That is why the Lord is blessing you guys. Brother Vitel, thank you for everything, for bringing Jana and Jeff to us. And I also want to thank Sister Lerato. Thank you so much. Thank you, Update team. Thank you, Queen Dr. Patience. I love you guys. My name is what? Dr. Benny, and I am your friend.
All right, thank you. Sister Bridget, are you in the house? So we can close YouTube. Sister Bridget, come see. Okay, Sister Bridget.
Okay.
If you're not yet, like Sister Irene, can you close YouTube so we can go to Q&A? That way we can take proprietary questions, please.
Thank you, Dr. B. I always like that idea of us thanking our Heavenly Father for giving us the opportunity to be here. Thank you. All right. So for those joining us from the YouTube, thank you very much for spending part of this Sunday with us. It is time for us now to say goodbye. For those of you who are on the YouTube, who are brand ambassadors, you can now join us via Zoom and we continue the program for today. So thank you very much, and we will see you within the week. And as you know, we still have webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays that will be deep dive, and then we have the webinar on Friday. That will be Niger team. And then I don't know if
Mama Grace,
did she start? Sorry,
she's here. Mama Grace, are you starting this week? Or I know
Saturday.
Mama Grace's hand was full. That's why she took a pause. Mama Grace, okay.
So with all those other groups, and the Dream Team will be back again on Sunday, same time. Thank you very much and have a blessed week.
All right, so let's go off. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all the people in YouTube join us as